Chapter 7, From the Heart of Cheryl Elizabeth. Would it be possible to understand that people are people, that people are human? Now, let us go far greater and deeper in the sense of awareness of life itself. Why do people choose what they choose? And I am sharing why I chose what I chose. And in the sorting and sifting, perhaps, just perhaps, one can see life itself without the harsh judgment. For what makes anyone do any one thing? Does it stem from past lives? The answer is yes. Now, if you do not believe in a past life or life after departing the earth, then it would be hard for you to buy the story. Let us begin with saying that one comes forth with the understanding of great love. One, depending on where one is born, would determine the conditioning, the surroundings, the family, the poverty or wealth, the religions, and so on. I was raised in a small little place. It was not even a town the years I lived there, as the 5th generation. Now, my ancestors, to them the town was a town. My great-grandfather owned the first gas station in our little town, and at the time I was being raised, the gas station was long gone. So, life evolves. Towns evolve, expanding or decreasing, and just like a little town that flourishes, or not, is likened to people. Now, what had to take place for the little place I grew up in to become a population of under 60, when at one time it was a community that had a functioning world? A world that was supported by its own world. Aren't people just like that? One is supported by the environment. This gets rather complicated, for even though I was raised in the very same house, same parents, same siblings as my little sister, we had very different views, different personalities. We saw the world so different than the other, even though the environment was pretty much the same. And this is what I mean by bringing forth oneself from a past life in the creation of this life. My sister created something far different than my creation. We experienced the same small town, same almost everything, including sharing a bed for years, sleeping in the same room for years, wearing the same clothes, different color for years. And yet, even at the young age of 2, we were showing how different we were to the other. So, same everything, mostly. And I found a place to become a drug addict and alcoholic. And she found a place to remove both. In fact, not really even experiencing both. Why? Why did she not become the addict? And why did I not function well in society like she did? My little sister, she creates only things that help others. To be of great service to others has always held her to her creations. And for me, I was to be serviced. I was the one that needed the help. Isn't it fascinating how it works? People abuse their children, and other people take care of the children. People are cruel to animals, and others would stop cruelty to animals in a second, every chance they got, and that includes risking one's own life to save the life of an animal. The streets are like that. People love their dogs. People on the streets want to have pets. And isn't that condemned deeply? For if one could not look after themselves, living in harsh conditions, how would they be able to care for another, a dog, a cat perhaps, in the same conditions? What people passing by don't realize, mostly, is that it is the dog with the unconditional love that keeps one alive on the streets. It is what the person starts to live for. I had a little dog, and this little one was my life, kept my life. And as I was top dog, it was my little dog that stayed by my side. Now, one may ask, why does a dog give one more reason to live than family? And the answer is truly profound, and yet so simple. The answer is the dog carries the unconditional love, the unconditional non-judgment, and people have a very hard time not to judge or even condemn. Now, I must be careful here, for my family was supportive of me as myself, but truly, did any of them want me to be a drug addict? Did my family that loved me deeply want me to live on the streets, to live strung out, to live selling my body for drugs? And of course the answer is an absolute no. Did my dog hold the judgment? I didn't have to live up to my dog's expectations. He loved me. That was it. He loved me. That was truly it. My family loved me, but that wasn't it. For I measured myself up against them. I was the one condemning and judging. My little sister excelling in her creations of helping others. My older sister always doing well in her profession, her own business. And my brother, well, he just had a way of doing the right thing at the right time, always, and in all ways. How do I measure up to that? They were only living their own life, just as I was, but I was measuring myself against them, not with them. So all the support they gave to me was so often dismissed with anger, for when you are angry, for when I was angry, nothing good is good. The help seems so patronizing and belittling. All the times they wanted and tried to help me, I worked against them. I couldn't see past my own judgment of myself. I couldn't see their goodness. I only saw my failures in compared to their successes. We were all raised in the same house. Why did I take the road I did? Why was I the mess up, the lowlife, and the one that disrespected their love? To stand out? To be looked at in a different light? To be honest, I didn't want a business. I didn't want my life to revolve around helping and inspiring others. And I most certainly didn't want to do the right thing. Had I wouldn't have been me, set apart from the pack, set apart from the smart ones, the ones living well. Ironically, as I mentioned, I was smart, perhaps the smartest of the children. I was capable of my own business. I was capable of being of great service to others. I was capable of doing the right thing at the right time, and I always chose not to. I chose and blamed the others. I chose to blame the others. For you see, when anger sets in and is carried for years, you need someone to blame, something to blame. And I chose everything to blame. The rich, the poor, the government, the men, my ex, my family, God. I even blamed growing up in the beautiful place I did. You blame everything and everyone for the anger, and in truth, the only one you are truly angry at is yourself for being angry for a lifetime. To blame and not take responsibility is the anger disguised. The blame has to be there, for you couldn't take the drink without it. You couldn't shoot the drugs in your arm without it. You just couldn't function without the blame towards everything but yourself. Perhaps people are different, but mostly people have every reason to drink and to take drugs, or to eat, or gamble, or be addicted to porn and sex, to be addicted to work and video games and the like. Blame has to be placed for the destruction. Here is the irony. You blame yourself the most, and there is the key to warrant any addiction anyone could have.